And Data Analysis. And I myself, Dr. Razina, on behalf of School of Economics and Commerce, CMR University, Bengaluru. I welcome all the participants to the Faculty Development Program that's happening from 9th to 14th September 2024. On the third day of Faculty Development Program, we are going to learn about reliability and validity of measurement and data, mediation and moderation analysis in structural equation modeling. I hereby extend a warm welcome to the eminent speaker of the day, Dr. Rajesh Kumar Upadhyay, sir, Dean, College of Business Studies at Koir University, Dehradun, Uttarakhand, who was very kind enough to accept our invitation despite of having a busy schedule. Now, when we go a little brief about sir's profile, sir has started his academic career at Mumbai University, where he earned a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry in 1997 with first class honors. Before that, he did exceptionally well in his secondary schools, receiving top grades from the Maharashtra State Board in both the 12th and 10th levels. Building on his undergraduate education, Dr. Upadhyay attended UP Technical University to get an MBA with a focus on marketing and HR, which he completed with honors. With more than 20 years of expertise, Dr. Upadhyay has mostly worked in academia, and he has been employed at Koir University as a professor and dean of management from December 2022. In this capacity, he is in charge of the management department, academic administration, research, and teaching. Sir has held a number of academic leadership positions before taking his current one, including assistant professor at IMS Unison University in Dehradun, MG Kashi Vidyapeeth in Varanasi, professor in associate dean research and development at Graphic Era Hill University in Dehradun, and head of department at Koir School of Management, Roorkee. And he has been a prolific researcher throughout his career, having published a substantial number of papers. Several of the works he has written have been published in reputed publications and are indexed in ACI and Scopus. Sir also possesses many patents which attest to his inventive contribution to the management sector.
Okay.
With Sir's profile has also served as a mentor and a counselor to several PhD scholars, working both alone and together to develop the next generation of researchers in the subject. Sir has successfully assisted several researchers in fulfilling their work and still mentor others in their research pursuits. Sir is great addition to the academic committee because of the commitment in academic achievements as well as his wealth of experience and managerial knowledge. In conclusion, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you for being here. And today we are honored to have a distinguished resource person, Dr. Rajesh Kumar Upadhyay sir, who is joining with us in the interactive session. We wholeheartedly thank our resource person for taking the time to be with us in this evening. Now, I gratefully invite Dr. Rajesh Kumar Upadhyay sir to come forward and address our enthusiastic audience. Sir, over to you, sir.
Regina ma'am,
Yes.
and thank you for giving such a wonderful introduction to the participants.
It's my honor, sir.
Okay, good evening, participants. There are three concepts that we would be understanding today through this session. One is, as Regina ma'am said rightly, that we will try to understand the concept of reliability and validity of scale measures. Then later on, we will try to understand the analysis of mediation and moderation, how it is carried out and how it is represented in the research papers. So shall we start, Regina ma'am?
Yes,
Hope I'm
sir.
audible.
Yes, sir. You're audible and video is also visible, sir. You can go ahead, sir.
So, what is research? The moment we get connected to Zoom, the process of the system get down. Okay. Before we start the session, let us try to understand what is research. Research is nothing but finding facts from the figure. If research is a process of finding facts from the figure, we are supposed to collect the data first, then we apply appropriate statistical analysis to appropriate software on it and try to draw conclusion inference out of the given data. This is what is referred as research. Now, the moment we go for the research in social science or where the people are involved, where the variable cannot be directly measured, like height and distance, we are supposed to check the reliability and validity of scale that we are using for our research. For example, if we try to assess the
satisfaction level of employee in an organization, we don't have any particular scale through which we can measure the satisfaction. So we make it measurable through using some statements. The combination or collection of those statements make a scale for measuring the satisfaction level of employee in the organization. As these variables cannot be directly measured, we call them as latent variable. Whenever we are trying to measure the latent variable, we use certain set of questionnaires to measure it. And hence, as we are not directly measuring the latent variable, we need to check the reliability and validity of the scale which we are using to measure the latent variables, like satisfaction, like affection, like effectiveness. So for coming up with the reliability and trusted result of the scale, we need to check its reliability and validity. Now let us try to understand what is reliability. Reliability is nothing but consistency of a scale. Suppose there is a scale through which I am measuring the height of a bench. Today it is 5 centimeter, 5 feet. Tomorrow it becomes 2.5 feet. Day after tomorrow it becomes 3 feet. It simply means the scale which I am using to measure the height of table is not giving consistent result, hence not reliable. Similarly, whenever we are using some statements to measure some feature characteristics of latent variable, we need to ensure that the scale possesses internal consistency, means the collection of statements measures the same thing. So that is how we measure the reliability of scale. The statistics which are used for measuring the reliability of scale is Cronbach alpha. Now, how the Cronbach alpha is calculated? Let me tell you again that Cronbach alpha measures the internal consistency of a scale, which is also referred as reliability of the scale. Now how to measure it? We simply, is this visible to all of you? This SPSS sheet is visible to everyone? I request you to please keep on responding me so that I can understand that I'm audible to you all and my internet is working properly. Anyone there? Is this SPSS sheet is visible to everyone? Okay. Now how to check the Cronbach alpha value or how to check the reliability of a we need to go in analyze, then scale, and then reliability analysis. Suppose we are trying to check the reliability of transformational leadership that has been measured using 7 different items questions. So all these 7 questions are intended to measure TL or infer the same meaning that we need to check. So we go to analyze, then scale, then reliability analysis, and select the items of transformational leadership or whatever the scale that you are using in your research, bring it to the second box and press OK. The
Sir,
moment you,
sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Rajesh sir.
yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. I have muted all the participants because of so many disturbances. So they will be able to respond you through chat box only.
Okay. Okay.
I have muted everyone, sir.
Okay.
So,
Let someone from the staff unmute his mic so that I can understand whether I am audible to everyone or not.
I am listening, sir. Every staff is listening, and they will. If you will ask, then immediately we will respond.
Okay. Okay. Now see, the moment we check the reliability of statistics, Cronbach alpha value of the 7 item which has been used for measuring the transformational leadership is 0.879. Anything above 0.7 is acceptable range for reliability statistics. Hope I am clear to everyone. This is how we check the internal consistency of scale. Let me tell you again, this is how we check the internal consistency of scale through Cronbach alpha coefficient. Now there is another way when we formulate a hypothesized model for the research, like this one, where we are trying to understand the effect of transformational leadership on employee performance and have taken workplace spirituality as mediating variable and job characteristics as moderator between transformational leadership and workplace spirituality. This is the whole hypothesized model that I have taken. To check the reliability of this model, I need to go for another statistics, which is referred as confirmatory factor analysis. Before conducting confirmatory, there are 2 options. One is exploratory factor analysis, another is confirmatory factor analysis.
Exploratory factor analysis is used when we try to prepare a new scale. But in the research, most of the time, we adopt scale from another research paper who has worked on that scale. We borrow that scale and use it in our context. But as the scale has been prepared for measuring something else in other context, whenever you are borrowing that scale for your research work, you need to check the reliability and validity of that scale. That is done through confirmatory factor analysis. In confirmatory factor analysis, we check 4 things: regression coefficient, convergent validity, discriminant validity, and model fit. Now, what is that? Regression coefficient, when I say we check regression coefficient of the scale, suppose this is the model that we are testing, where TL is measured using 7 different items, set of questions that we ask. Now, this is the hypothesized model where workplace spirituality has been tested using 21 items. TL has been tested using 7 items. Job characteristics has been checked or measured using 6 items. And similarly, employee performance has been measured using 4 items. So this forms a measurement model. Now we need to ensure that this TL item, 7 items, is measuring TL only and not anything else in the hypothesized model. Means this TL, 7 item of TLs is highly correlated with transformational leadership and not with other variables in the model. So we need to check the regression coefficient of the construct that we are using in the model, like the regression coefficient of TL with item TL1, the statement 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple regression we use. It is not multiple regression. It is a simple regression weight that we check. So we need to ensure that the regression coefficient for each item in the hypothesized model score more than 0.7. If you understand the statistics little bit, you might be knowing that the square of the regression weight is actually it reflects the variance in the variable we have considered. Let me explain you in simple way. We are telling that this TL is explaining more than 50% of TL1. So for getting the variance above 0.5, the minimum regression weight that we need is 0.7. The square of 0.7 is 49, almost 0.5. So first of all, for checking the validity of the construct that we are using, we need to check the regression coefficient. Let me explain you again. It is for checking the validity of scale or measure. Now, what is validity is nothing but the extent to which the scale is measuring what actually it intended to measure. Like, suppose I am checking the entrepreneurship skill of a person through entrepreneurship skill, it is measuring entrepreneurship of that person and not the personality or attitude of that person. Now, hope we are clear with the concept of validity. So, for validating the scale, we conduct CFA where we ensure that all the items form more than 0.7 regression weight with its original construct. Then the next we need to check the convergent validity. Convergent validity simply means that whatever the construct that you have taken in the item in the hypothesized model, the latent the item that has been intended to measure the latent variable is converging on that variable only. Like this 7 item of the transformational leader is converging on TL only. Converging on TL means making high correlation with TL only and not other variable. This is what we refer as convergent validity. Now, how it is checked? It has been checked through this 3 criteria. First, we need to ensure that composite reliability CR of the hypothesized construct is more than 0.7. First criteria. Second criteria is the average value variance extracted, which should be greater than 0.5. Similarly, the third criteria is that AVE means average variance expected should be less than CR.
सर, राजेश सर, हाँ सर, अरे म्यूट हो गए क्या?
Hope I am audible now. See, we are trying to understand the statistics that has been used for measuring the convergent validity. I said there are three criteria that has to be fulfilled for proving the convergent validity of a scale. What are those three criteria? Composite reliability of the scale should be greater than 0.7. The first criteria. Second criteria is that AVE, average value variance expected, should be more than 0.5. And third criteria is that AVE should be less than CR. For example, suppose we are trying to check the convergent validity of this scale. I have used plugin. I perceive that all of you are comfortable with the MOs because I'm carrying out this analysis using the software called MOs. So if I try to check the validity, convergent validity of this scale, these are the parameters. What is that? The AVE should be greater than 0.5. So here you can see every value of AVE of scale is greater than 0.5 except JC, job characteristics. So one of the variable is not qualifying the condition of AVE in the hypothesized model. Similarly, the second criteria is that CR should be greater than 0.7. So you can see the composite reliability of each of the measure is greater than 0.7 in this scale. Third criteria is that AVE should be less than CR. Now you can check the value of AVE with the respective CR value of the scale, and you'll find that in every case CR is greater than AVE. So if this value would have been greater than 0.5, we would have said that the convergent validity of hypothesized model that we have taken is proved. Hope I am clear with it. Now let's go to discriminant validity of this scale. Now what is discriminant validity of this scale? When we formulate a hypothesized model, measurement model of the hypothesized model, we need to ensure that the every construct, every measure that has been taken in the study are different. Like workplace spirituality is separate construct that we have used. TL is different, JC is different, EPA is different. This is what is referred as discriminant validity of scale. Now, what is the criteria of measuring discriminant validity? Is just one. We need to ensure that maximum shared variance is less than AV. Maximum shared variance. Maximum shared variance means the variance of an item with each construct is less than the AV, average variance extracted of that scale. Let us check the statistics. Here you can see the MSV, maximum shared variance of each variable, is less than its respective AV. Like for workplace spirituality, AV is 0.5 and MSV is 0.4. Means this qualifies the criteria. And similarly, if you see for all the four constructs, you'll find that MSV is less than its respective AV. This is one of the methods through which we prove the discriminant validity of the hypothesized model. There are few other criteria through which we prove the discriminant validity. One of the very popular criteria is Furner and Larker criteria. In that criterion, we need to check the square root value of AVE should be greater than all the correlation that the construct forming with the other variable in the study. Like the square root of 0.592 is 0.779. This should be greater than all the correlation that WPS forms with other variable under study. So you can see that 0.7 is greater than TL, the correlation that it is forming with JC and EP. Similarly, TL, the square root of 0.09, 0.509 is 0.713, which is greater than the each correlation that TL is forming with the other variable under study. This is what is referred as Furnell and Larker criteria for proving the discriminant validity. Okay. Okay, we are trying to understand the Furnell and Larker method of proving discriminant validity. So as I said, the square root of AV of each construct should be greater than the correlation it is forming with the other variable in the model. So this is the third criteria that we need to check for conducting structure equation modeling, and all this comes under confirmatory factor analysis. The next statistics that we need to check is model fit. Model fit simply means the extent to which the data that has been collected is fitting to the proposed model. Hypothesized model is this. Hypothesized model is this. Now we need to check that the extent to which the data that has been collected for checking this model fit to this model. Hope the meaning of model fit is clear to everyone. Now, how to check the model fit of the model fit of the proposed model? We simply carry out, we run the model. I'm perceiving that you are comfortable with AMOS software. This is how we run the model and check the statistics. Now see the statistics. The C mean by DF, C mean here means the C value by degree of freedom should be between 1 to 3. The first statistics through which we check the model fit of the measurement model is C mean by DF. The value should be between 1 to 3. Similarly, there are several other statistics like RMR, SRMR, which should be less than 10%, means 0.1. Here it is 3.6%, means the probability is 0.036, means it is proving the model fit. Similarly, GFI, AGFI, CFI, TLI, there are so many statistics that we check to prove the model fitness of the model. For shortcut, you are supposed to install a plugin. The moment you click on the model fit measure, it gives summarized model fitness statistics with threshold value. Payment by DF should be between 1 to 3. Similarly, CFI should be greater than 0.95. SRMR should be less than 0.1, 0.08. SRMR should be less than 6%, and P close should be greater than 5%. These are the statistics which are used for checking the model fitness of proposed model. So these are the statistics. These are the figure that we need to calculate before proceeding for checking the hypothesis of the proposed model. Path analysis. Before going for path analysis, we need to check the confirmatory factor analysis so that we can prove the reliability and validity of the scale that we are using for measuring the variable. Now, whenever we carry out a research, we don't only check whether the relationship between two variables exists or not. We also check how and when the relationship works or holds. Let me repeat once again. Whenever we try to check the relationship between the variables, like suppose we are trying to check the effect of job satisfaction on performance of employee in the organization. We don't only check whether the relationship between these two variables A and B exist or not. We go beyond that for better insight that how and when the relationship exists, works or holds. This how factor is nothing but the domain of mediation, explaining the mechanism of effect of independent variable on dependent variable. For example, we know that exercise leads to loss of weight. More the exercise, more will be the weight loss of a person. But how it works? It works like that. Because of the exercise, we burn our calorie. This calorie burning leads to loss of weight. So loss of calorie is mediating variable between exercise and weight loss. Hope I am clear to everyone. Mediation means the mechanism with which independent variable A influences the dependent variable B. For example, the person who has high sugar need to go for urination frequently. Means the sugar level influences the urination frequency. But how it works? Because of the sugar, kidney of a person gets affected, and because of the uh, function of the kidney, the frequent urination is required. So the mechanism, this health of kidney acts as a mediator between the sugar level and frequency of urination. Hope I am clear to everyone. So we try to understand how independent variable influences dependent variable. Means the mechanism of effect of independent variable on dependent variable, which is also known as mediation. The second thing that we need to check for better insight in the process of a relationship is when the relations, when means understanding the boundary condition within which the independent variable influences dependent variable. Take the same example, exercise leads to weight loss, but to what extent exercise will determine the weight loss depends on the kind of meal that a person is taking. So meal will determine the boundary condition, means the effect size of dependent on dependent variable. Hope I am clear with the moderation concept. Let's move further. This is the concept of mediation and moderation. Why it is carried out? Just to get better insight in the relationship between two variables. Now let's start with the mediation analysis. The concept now you know. The mediating variable explains the mechanism with which the independent variable influences the dependent variable. Now how it is represented is this. This is how graphically the mediation relation between two variable is represented. For example, the case that we have taken is that here we say that transformational leadership influences employee performance. How? Because of the transformational leaders, the workplace spirituality of employee increases, and because of increase of this workplace spirituality, ultimately performance of employee increases. So workplace spirituality is explaining the mechanism with which transformational leadership is influencing employee performance. So these are the graphical representation of the variable that you need to ensure in your research paper or thesis work. Now, for applying before taking a variable as a mediating variable, we need to understand the assumptions behind mediation. In which case we can consider a variable as a mediating variable between independent variable and dependent variable. So there is a concept given by Baron and Kenny Though it is outdated now, but for better understanding of the concept of mediation, you need to know the assumption that has been formulated by Baron and Kenny. There are three steps to understand whether the variable that you have considered is mediating variable or not. In the first step, you need to check whether the significant association between independent variable and dependent variable exists or not. This in the second step, you need to check whether the independent variable formulate a significant relationship with the mediating variable, and mediating variable is forming significant relation with the dependent variable. These two relationships you need to check. Once you check this relationship, you'll understand that if both the relationships is significant, means the independent variable form significant relationship with the mediating variable, and mediating variable is formulating significant association with dependent variable. Then we perceive that some kind of mediation variable is present. Means the variable that you have taken as mediating variable can be a potential mediator. Here I am using short in the PPT. It simply means there are more than one type of mediation that we need to understand. That I will explain later on. But if you find any of the two relationships, this x to m and m to y is insignificant, it simply means the variable that you have taken as a mediating variable is not actually a mediating variable. Hope I am clear to everyone. Now, in third step, we say let us understand through this graphical representation. When A means the effect of independent variable on mediating variable is significant, means the value of A is significant and value of B is significant, then only we can say that M can be a potential mediator between independent variable and dependent variable. But actually what happens, the kind of mediation that M forms between independent and dependent variable depends on this value. Initially, we used to apply Sobel test to determine the to know whether the M is mediating variable between IV and DV or not. The moment in the first step, we need to check C, means the effect of IV on DV without mediating variable. Suppose the coefficient is C, and once you bring in the mediating variable, the relationship between independent and dependent variables falls down to C dash. Hope I am clear to everyone. The moment this M comes in the picture, the effect of direct effect of IV on DV falls down to C dash. If this C dash earlier, C should be significant, then only we can go for checking mediating variable as per this Baron and Kenny. This C is significant. The moment M comes in picture, it goes down to C dash. If C dash becomes 0, or in other words, if in the presence of mediating variable, the direct effect of IV on DV becomes insignificant, we say that it is a full mediation that your mediating variable is forming. Means all the effect of IV on DV comes through this M mediating variable. But if C C reduces to C dash and C dash is still significant. Means in the presence of mediating variable, if the direct effect of independent variable on dependent variable is still significant, we say that this M is forming partial mediation between IV and DV. It means, in simple words, IV is influencing DV directly as well as through mediating variable. This is what has been explained in step 3. When the mediating variable is considered as full mediating variable, when it is considered as partial mediating variable, and if the value of A into B is insignificant, but this C dash is significant, we say that there is no mediation created by M. This is what has been explained in the PPT. So you need to check whether the mediation is full mediation or partial mediation, or indirect effect exists, or there is no mediation. When can we say that indirect effect exists? When the direct effect is insignificant but indirect effect is significant. These are the old concepts that has gone outdated. Now the latest assumption of mediation, condition of mediation is given by Professor here, who says that if there is no relationship between X and Y in absence of mediator, then there can be a mediation possible if the product of A and B is significant. Means this, suppose this C is insignificant, but there is significant effect of IV on DV through this mediating variable, then also we can assume M as a mediating variable, which has been rejected by earlier approach given by Baron and Taylor. This is how we check the model. We check the first hypothesis that independent variable is significantly influencing the dependent variable, means H1 should be significant. Similarly, we also need to check that this independent variable is significantly associated with mediating variable, means hypothesis 2, this is how we form. This hypothesis 2 should also be significant. Then only we can say that work engagement is can be a potential mediator between these two variables. And in third step, we check this hypothesis that work engagement means mediating variable is significantly mediating the influence of virtuous leadership, means independent variable on dependent variable. Would you like to see the actual paper, how these things are represented in actual paper? Let's see. Here, I try to understand the effect of transformational leadership on organizational effectiveness in the context of Indian banks. This is how the path has been represented, where knowledge sharing is moderating variable between employee innovative behavior and organizational effectiveness, and employee innovative behavior is a mediating variable between transformational leadership and organizational effectiveness. I wanted to show you how the hypothesis has been checked. Now see, this is how we tested the effect, direct effect and indirect effect. Similarly, there is another paper where EM, employee motivation, acts as a mediating variable between OB and team effectiveness. And this is how the hypothesis has been tested. Now you can see that OCB influences EM and EM influences TE. The direct effect of OCB on TE is this much significant. Similarly, the indirect effect of OCB on TE through EM is also significant. Hence, we perceive that the mediation is partial in nature. This is how we report the mediation in research paper or in the thesis. How the mediation is done, that I would be explaining you. There are two ways to check the mediation relationship. One is through SPSS, another through the SEM software, which includes MOs, Smart PLS, etc. So I'm explaining you how the mediation is assessed in SPSS, because SPSS is widely easily available software for researchers. For checking the mediation and moderation model in SPSS, you are supposed to install a plugin called process given by Professor Hayes. How to install process in SPSS? You can go through the video available on YouTube. So before assessing the mediation and moderation effect through SPSS, you are supposed to install a plugin called process given by Professor Hayes. I have taken this example where I am considering that this is the proposed model where I am checking that whether the work spirituality acts as a mediating variable between transformational leadership and employee performance. This can be tested using Hayes plugin. Before using the Hayes plugin, you need to go through the templates given by Professor Hayes. This is model 1, 2, 3. You might be understanding how the conceptual diagram has been represented. The moment this line comes on the other line, these variable is considered as moderating variable. In mediating variable, this is how the mediation conceptually represented, as I explained. So this is model 4 that we need to check. So go to the analysis, analyze, then regression. In regression, you need to click on the process In the process, first you need to select the model. What are these models? It is given in the templates a professor is. So we are applying model 4 to check the mediation. So we apply model 4. Confidence interval you should keep same 95%. Then bootstrap you need to keep same 5000. Now as represented in the template, M1 is actually mediating variable, X is independent and Y is dependent. In our case, we are considering TL as independent variable, EP as dependent variable, and WS as mediating variable. Let's check in the SPSS. These are the composite score that has been calculated. TL is X, independent variable. Job performance is Y, dependent variable. Then workplace spirituality is mediating variable. And let's check. As it is iterating the relationship 5000 times, it would take a bit more time. Yes. What we need to check? We need to check this indirect effect. The indirect effect means the X on Y through WPS is 0.178 with this both lower limit critical index and upper limit critical index. Now how it is read? We need, if this lower limit CI and upper limit CI, if we find no zero between them, it simply means the effect size is significant. I am repeating this. If you wanted to note, you can note it down. If no zero exists between the lower limit CI and upper limit CI, the effect size is significant. And when the zero will exist, when one of the value will be in negative, whether lower limit CI or upper limit CI, if one of the value would be in negative, then only the zero will exist between lower limit CI and upper limit CI. Here in our case, as we don't find zero between lower limit CI and upper limit CI, the effect size is significant. Means indirect effect of X on Y through WPS is significant. Hence, WPS means workplace spirituality significantly mediate the relationship between X and Y. This is how it is assessed using SPSS. The steps I have written here, I will share this PPT, and by going through this process, you can easily calculate or assess the mediation effect in your proposed model. Now, how it is reported in the research paper or thesis, we report the beta coefficient, means the regression, effect size, the p-value and p-value. These three statistics we report in hypothesis testing. In all the paper that you will go through, like this paper also, we have represented the effect size, in running text, you will find that these three statistics has been reported: beta value, t value, and p value. So keep in mind, while reporting the relations effect of one variable on other, these three important statistics we give to support our hypothesis. Thus, we are through with the mediating variable and the method of assessing the mediation effect. So far we are through with how to assess the reliability and validity of a construct or hypothesized model. Then we covered when the mediation effect of a variable exists, the assumption of mediation. Then we try to understand how the analysis of mediating variable is done using SPSS. This is what we have covered so far. Now let's start with the last topic of the session, the moderation analysis. Now, what is moderating variable? The variable that determines the variation of lower and upper limit of the effect that independent variable caused on dependent variable. So in the moderation analysis, we are through with the meaning, though I will try to explain it again. Then we will check the graphical representation of moderating variable, how the conceptual model is represented, and how statistical model is represented in case of moderation analysis. Then we'll try to understand how the calculation in the case of moderation analysis is done using SPSS, process, and AMOS. Though AMOS we would not be able to cover today, but of course, how the moderation analysis is done using SPSS and the plugging in the SPSS, which is called process, given by Professor Hayes. These two methods we will try to understand, and ultimately how the moderation analysis is written in the research paper or thesis. That we will try to understand. Now, as I explained you earlier, moderation is conceptually determine the boundary condition, boundary limit of effect between independent variable and dependent variable. For example, to what extent exercise will influence the weight loss depends on the meal that the person is taking. Here in this relationship, meal is moderating variable between exercise and weight loss. If a person come across samosa, the temptation for samosa will get determined by the temperature of samosa. If samosa is hot, one may feel more tempted towards it. If samosa is not hot, the temptation will be less. Hope you understand. Now you got the fair meaning of moderating variable in the research. Now let's start with the type of moderator. The moderator can be categorical or continuous. This continuous categorical is kind of measure that we use to measure the variable. When variable is categorical in nature, like gender, like qualification, like yes or no, these are the categorical variables. But so the calculation, the analysis that we carry out for categorical moderator is different from the calculation, the analysis that we carry out for a continuous variable which acts as a moderating variable between independent and dependent variable. Now, see, this is how the moderation is represented graphically. You can differentiate between the mediating variable and moderating variable. In moderating case, this moderating variable, the arrow should come in between the dependent and independent variable, whereas in case of mediating variable, the representation is done like this, that independent influences M and M influences dependent variable. This is how the mediating variable is represented graphically, and this is how the moderating variable is represented graphically. Now, statistically, the moderation is represented like this. The effect of independent variable on dependent variable, this is the one relationship that we check. Then we also check the direct effect of moderating variable on dependent variable. And thirdly, we calculate the product of independent variable and moderating variable and check whether this product of independent variable and moderating variable is significantly influencing dependent variable. So this is how statistically moderation is checked. Hope this is clear to everyone. Let's move to the method of analysis. Let me tell you that moderation basically is the name which is used for the variable which is categorical in nature. If this variable becomes continuous variable, instead of moderation, we use the word interaction effect. Here you can understand interaction of this both. But in common language, we refer both, whether the variable is categorical in nature or continuous in nature, we refer it as a moderating variable. Now, how it is done in SPSS? In SPSS, at first step, we split the file into the categorical variable. Now, how it is done? Suppose in our case, we wanted to check the moderation of job characteristics in the relationship between transformational leadership and workplace spirituality. Here in this case, this job characteristics is continuous in nature. But suppose instead of job characteristics, we wanted to check whether the gender play as a moderating role between transformational leadership and work spiritualization, workplace spirituality. In that case, the moderating variable becomes categorical variable, gender, male and female. How the hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, how to calculate the moderating effect of gender in the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable? So, in first step, as I said, we split the data into groups. Here in our case, on the basis of gender. How it is done? We go to data, then we go to split file, and we are comparing group on the basis of
Actually, I have
created this data by my own and forget to save it, as the gender is not appearing in the data.
okay. You don't have gender in this data. Let me go to another data. Yes, gender is there, but we failed to calculate a composite.
For example, we'll take one item as a composite item. So I'm splitting the data into compare group between on the basis of gender. The moment I perform this process, each calculation that I would be doing will split the data into two groups, male and female. Now I will be running the regression analysis, linear regression between, suppose P1 is the composite score of uh, transformational leadership, independent variable, and work spirituality. One is composite score for workplace spirituality. The moment I carry out this will result into the regression analysis. Here you'll find the regression coefficient for male and female, as we have splitted the data on the basis of gender. Now the regression weight in the case of male is 0.411. In case of female, it is 0.281. Now we need to check whether the regression weight for male and female significantly differs. Here is the glitch that every researcher gets. What is glitch? To assess the regression weight of two items, whether it is different or not. For that, you need to use another tool, which is referred as online Daniel Soper's calculator. I have given the link in the PPT. This is online calculator designed by Daniel Soper. Here we need to check the significance of the difference between two slopes. If you are comfortable with the statistics, you might be knowing that slope is nothing but the coefficient of regression. Here you need to put the values
Sorry. So many windows are open. Let me close it. Okay.
we are supposed to put these values. All the values are available in SPSS. This is the SPSS sheet.
Now let's put the values.
What is the sample size for male? Okay. We are not getting the sample size. So we need to go to the analysis again. And in statistics, check on descriptive statistics. Now, as you have checked on descriptive statistics, you will get the sample size. Hope this is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
In case of male, the sample is of 215. Let's put this value in the calculator. The sample size is 215 for N2. For in the case of female, it is 222. Now slope for a male means regression weight for male is 0.411, and in case of female it is 0.281. Standard error for slope 1 is 0.069, 0.069, and for female it is 0.066. Now calculate. Now you can see the probability is greater than 0.05 and t value is less than 1.96. Hence, the moderation of gender in the relationship between independent and dependent variable is insignificant. I told you how to calculate the moderation effect in the case where the moderating variable is categorical in nature. So I'm repeating the step that we carried out to assess the categorical moderator is that we in SPSS we split the file into compare group. Here in our case we have taken gender as compare group. We were comparing the effect size of independent and dependent variable in case of male and female. Once we splitted the data in the SPSS, the second step was to assess the regression weight. Once we assess the regression weight, we go on online calculator given by Daniel Soper. This is the link I would be giving you through this PPT. You are supposed to go to this link and check the difference of regression in case of male and female. If the difference is significant in nature, it means the gender significantly moderates the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. If that difference is insignificant, means the categorical moderator that you have taken is not significantly moderating the relationship between IV and DB. So this much is clear to everyone. Now second is how to calculate or assess the moderator when it is continuous in nature. When the moderator is continuous in nature. This process is bit difficult because you are supposed to convert the value of each variable into its standardized values. Means you are supposed to remove the effect of unit of measurement. You are supposed to convert the value into Z score. How it is done? In SPSS, we go to analyze, then descriptive statistic, then descriptive, and check save standardized value as variable, and then we proceed for transforming. Then we calculate the interaction value that I had explained in the process. You are supposed to convert this IV value into a standardized value, means Z score you need to calculate. The moderator need to be converted into Z score. DV need to be converted into Z score. Then another variable you are supposed to calculate, where you create the product of IV and moderating variable. Means the third variable you need to create. This is how the process is done. Now let's see it in SPSS so that you can have better understanding of it. In our case, as you know, through the proposed model, that job characteristics is moderating variable between TL and workplace spirituality. So these three variables we are taking into consideration. Now, as suggested in the process, first we need to convert the variable into its standardized values, means Z score. For converting it into Z score, we need to go to analyze, then descriptive statistics, then descriptive, and here you will get a tab where you are asking the SPSS software to save the value into its standardized form. If you check it and bring out the value that you need in standardized form into another box, job characteristics we are taking and workplace spirituality we are taking. The moment you click on it, you'll find three scores in your SPSS sheet. Standardized value means Z score of TL, Z score of JC means job characteristics, and Z score of dependent variable workplace spirituality. Hope this process is clear to everyone. Though I have written the process step by step in my PPT. So step one is done. We converted the variable into its standardized value. Second is to create a new variable, interaction score of IV and moderating variable. Now how it is done? We need to go into transform, then compute variable. Here you will get the transform tab. In that we need to go into compute variable. In compute variable, we are creating interaction of JC, job characteristics, and TL. This is how we are calculating. Now, how it is done? Take the Z score of TL here into JC. That's all. The moment you click on OK, a new variable will appear in your SPSS sheet. So now you have the Z score of the variable and interacting variable. Thus, we are through with the second step of assessing moderator if it is continuous in nature, Now, third step is to run regression analysis, preferably using two-step. Now, how two-step regression is done in SPSS? Let's start. These are variable. We go to analyze, then regression, then linear. Here you will find the method. We do it as stepwise. What is our dependent variable? It is workplace spirituality. What is our independent variable is transformational leadership. Right? Next, we consider interaction effect as next variable. And okay. The moment you click on OK, you get this statistics. Here you can see the interaction effect is 0.068 with t value of 1.979. If you are a bit comfortable with the statistics, you might be knowing that if this t value is greater than 1.96, the effect size is significant in nature. Now you can see the significance level. The second way to check whether this regression weight is significant or not is to check the significance. If the significance is less than 0.05, we consider the effect size as effective or significant. Here you can see it is less than 0.05. Hence, whatever the beta value that you are getting is significant. Hence, the JC is significantly moderating the relationship between TL and job spirituality in our case. Hope this much is clear to everyone. Tiwari sir, hope I am audible. Okay. So we carry out the analysis of moderating variable in when it is continuous nature in SPSS. We are supposed to follow these 4 steps. First, we convert the variable into its standardized value, which is also referred as Z score. Then we create the interacting variable by multiplying the independent variable, the value of independent variable with moderating variable. And finally, we run the regression analysis, preferably in 2 steps, where we put the independent variable in first step and interacting variable in the second step. And in 4th step, we check whether the interaction variable is significant or not. If it is significant, means the moderation effect exists, it is significant in nature. This is how we carry out the moderation analysis in SPSS. Now, there is another way to calculate this moderation using process, which is very simple. If we carry out moderation effect using process in SPSS, these things become very easy. First, you need to check the models given by Professor Hayes for moderation. So this is the model that we are testing in our case. In our case, X is transformational leadership, Y is workplace spirituality, and job characteristics is moderating variable. This is how the diagram is conceptually represented. This is model number 1. Remember it. Now we go in SPSS, we go in analysis. We are not supposed to calculate this variables, this standardized form of this variable, or new interacting variable. Nothing we are supposed to do when we are applying process given by Professor Hayes. We simply go to the regression. In regression, if we have installed the plugin of Professor Hayes, it will appear here in regression as process. In process, you are supposed to name the model number, which is 1. In our case, if you can recall, it is model number 1, and our work is similar to that model number 1. Then we don't have to change this confidence interval and number of bootstrap of sample. Simply, we need to put WPS as dependent variable, TL as independent variable, and see in the model carefully, M is represented as moderating variable. Hence, we will be putting moderating variable. In our case, it is job characteristics in 1. Let's see. Process is a bit heavier process, so it would take few more seconds to calculate the values. Now see, interaction effect is created. One new variable has been created by the software TL into JC that we have manually calculated, and you can see the effect of TL on interacting variable on independent variable workplace spirituality. It comes as 0.1340 with p value this. Now see the lower limit Ci and upper limit Ci. 0 exists between this. Hence, as per the process, there is no moderation of JC in the relationship between TL and workplace spirituality. You can find it here also. See the interacting variable, which is calculated by multiplying independent variable with moderating variable, is insignificant in nature. Is insignificant in the nature. Now this figure represents the moderating effect, one standard deviation up and down. In most of the paper, you will find one graph also representing the moderating effect. Like in this paper, where you have taken emotional intelligence as a moderating variable between TL and OCB, we represent it with this graph. How this graph is created? For creating this graph, there is another plugin or another sheet given by, let me show you the sheet. This is stat tools package that you will easily find on Google. You are supposed to download this Excel, and in interaction, two-way interaction, you need to put the variable name and the regression weight that you are getting, and this graph will be the graph will appear automatically. In our case, if you find the regression weight, the variable, the dependent variable is, in our case, it is workplace spirituality. Moderating variable is job characteristics, and independent variable is TL, and dependent variable is workplace spirituality. The effect of independent TL on workplace spirituality is 0.696. It is 0.696. Then the effect of moderating variable TL, JC, TL below. Okay. The value of JC we have not calculated in that case. Suppose I am taking this value from the second method that we have used. It comes as minus 0.001, and interaction effect is 0.134. It is 0.134. The moment you put the value, you will get the graph. This is the graph. So there is slight difference in the value that we have calculated manually and using process. There is big difference in the process where we calculated the values manually. It is 0.068, which is significant in nature, but the process, when we use process, the interaction value is different. This difference is appearing because of the process that we are using to calculate. If you use smart PLS, the regression weight is calculated through partial least square method. Here, when we are calculating this value in SPSS, it is calculated using the another method of regression. If we use the MOS to calculate the moderating effect, it calculates the regression weight using maximum likelihood estimation. So the slight difference you will observe in whenever you change the process of assessing the value. Now, how do we report the moderation in the paper? This is how we report the effect of interacting variable on dependent variable, the beta value, standard error, p value, and p value. This is how we represent the moderation analysis in the research paper or in the thesis. Decision is supports the hypothesis, where we have taken the assumption that emotional intelligence significantly moderates the relationship between TL and OCD. This is how the statistics is represented in the paper. To support this statistics, we put the graphical representation of moderating variable. I explained you how this graph is created using stat wiki tools, stat tools package. In the other paper also, if you see the moderating effect, it is represented in the same way. If you read inside, you will find that in interaction also we represent the beta value means regression weight, t value and p value. Uh, the Excel sheet which I was discussing, you can find it on the site created by Gaskin. Gaskin is a prominent name that who have explained the process of mediation and moderation. So that's all. This is how we present the moderation effect in a research paper. So we have taken the three different aspects of research paper. First, how the reliability and validity is checked. I explained you that these are the conditions that you need to check. Once you are through with the CFA and you find that your scale is reliable and valid and model fit indices are good, you proceed with the hypothesis testing. In hypothesis testing, I explained you how the mediating variable is checked, how it is represented, how it is calculated, and how it is reported in research paper or thesis. Then we went on understanding moderation analysis. I explained you how it is graphically represented, how it is statistically represented, and the method of calculating the moderation effect using SPSS and process. And finally, we try to understand how it is reported in research paper or thesis. So that's all from my side. Now the open question answer session is proposed.
Dr. Rajina ma'am.
Sir, now the session is open for question answer.
Okay, okay.
Good. Participants, you can put across your questions in case we want to clarify any questions.
I have unmuted everyone. If anyone wants to ask any question, you can ask.
Participants, you have any queries?
Professor, this is from Pune. Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
Was it audible? Yeah. Thank you so much. Really, sir, it was good session, and I was trying to understand the concept. Again, it was some technical, session. So if can you suggest, us or me, best methodology for maybe let's example, I'm going to study on organic farming, right? And I have gathered 450, respondent. Sample size is 450 now. So which one is best method? If we'll talk about your that is pilot study already have done. That is my sample size approximately 80. I've done my chronic alpha test, right? After that, I want some good taste. Maybe the reason being I'm not a right person to ask. Reason being I don't have any knowledge about that particular taste. Which kind of taste I should apply for my the data, right, sir? So can you suggest me, if my respondent is 480, which method I should use for my, that data analysis and all? Best method. A lot of methods are there. Yeah.
Can you tell me your name, please?
Yeah, sir, Rishikesh, sir. Rishikesh Kumar.
Okay.
Ji, sir.
See, Professor Rishikesh,
Ji, sir.
which test you should apply depends on 4 different factors.
Yes, sir.
Which includes the scale through which you have measured the variable,
Right,
the normality of the data,
right,
and so on.
right.
What we try to understand is how the relationship between two variables
Yes,
is assessed, and for greater insight, how we understand the mechanism with which independent variable influences dependent variable and the boundary condition. All this test is applied where the variables are latent in nature. That's why we go for confirmatory factor analysis and all the tests.
right.
Which test you should use depends on the hypothesis that you have made for your study, the assumptions that you have made for your study. So if you can explain me what is your actual problem and what assumption have you taken for your study, then only I can tell you which test you should apply on your
Yes,
case.
sir. Yes, sir. Just give me some time. I'll explain now, sir. Let's example, my topic is on marketing mix on related to that is organic farming, right?
Right.
Let's example, my objective is to study the promotional strategies of organic producers. Let's example, sir, right, sir? Now, if I'm going to discuss about marketing mix, that is a combination of 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotion.
Right.
I'm going to discuss on promotional strategy, right, sir?
Okay.
Now, for promotional strategy, again, there are various promotional sales promotion, publicity, advertising, and all, right, sir? Direct marketing. Now, I want to understand. Already, I had visited so many places. I meet with the farmers. I've gathered some data. In this,
what kind of data have you gathered?
Yes,
like,
yes, already I've gathered the data.
Farmer, what
Yes, sir.
what did you ask them?
Yes, I asked them, ki aap, are you doing some, activities for promoting your product, right? First, let's example, they like, no, I visit that local area, or I'm not using any app. I don't have any connect with the, online e-commerce platform where I can sell my product. Let's example. So still they're struggling for selling their product through online mode. Reason being, if we talk about the farmers, the majority of the farmers hardly 2 acre lands they are having, sir, right? So again, there is a maybe price is.
Professor, you're making your research really complex. If you really want to understand your research in easiest way, you are supposed to identify the dependent variable and independent variable that you are taking in your study.
Okay, sir.
Are you clear with that?
Yes, sir, I'm clear with that, sir.
What is your dependent variable?
Sir, that is a price of that organic food, sir, they're producing, sir.
Depends
income.
Depends on
income. Yes, sir.
So income influences the purchase of organic food. This is what you have taken.
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
Now, if you are taking just 2 variables, here you are supposed, as both variable will be measured in continuous.
Yes, sir.
So you can easily apply simple regression in it.
Yes, right.
If you are doing it through SPSS, you are supposed to check the 4 basic assumptions of applying this simple regression.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Do you know those 4 assumptions? The data should be normally distributed.
Yes.
Then there should not be the case of homoscedasticity.
Yes.
And 4 assumptions are there. Once you are through with those 4 assumptions, you can directly apply simple regression, where you will get the effect size, means beta coefficient of the relationship between income or price. What we have taken? Price of the product.
Yes, price. Yes, a price of product
buying
and
intention.
consumers. Buying intention.
Buying intention you are checking.
G.
So you are. I think you
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
in buying behavior, you are supposed to go through certain theories, and through theories, you need to draw variables.
Yes,
Like
yes, sir.
in the technology case, like you wanted to check who are
Rajesh sir,
using
your voice is breaking, sir.
UPI
Sir,
as
your
payment
voice is
tool.
not audible, sir. Your
In
voice
that
is
case,
not
Your
you
voice
are
is
audible.
supposed to go
breaking,
through
Rajesh sir.
certain theories, like theory of plant behavior. Hope you are writing it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Theory of
Yes.
plant behavior, or
Sir, can I ask one doubt, sir?
yes,
Can you hear me?
Professor.
Sir, Rishikesh, you
Yes, sir.
can
Yes, sir.
note
Yes,
down
sir.
my contact number. I will explain you later on because
Yes. Yes.
your
Okay.
query is big,
Okay.
big query.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir. Thank you so much for explaining, sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Sir,
Thank
can
you.
I
Thank
ask
you.
you, sir, can you hear me?
Huh. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sir,
Please go ahead.
thank you very much for that excellent presentation, sir. I just have a request. If you have used these three, you spoke about validity, then reliability, then you spoke about the three variables and how the scope of moderating variable also matters. So, can you share us any paper which you have written where you've engaged this explanation so that we can understand it even better, sir?
Yes, of course. The paper that I have taken as an example is paper written by me only. This is the paper that I have taken as an example, has been
O-
authored
Okay,
by
sir.
me
You,
only.
okay, sir. So,
If you
if you
go
can share
to
it in the group.
the if you can go to the Google Scholar, you'll find my papers, and all papers are easily downloadable because I have put all the paper on that the site that collects the research paper, so you can easily download it.
Sir, just one more doubt, sir.
Huh.
Since you come from a different background, I'm from social sciences. Can you just explain again open access and Scopus? So, is it that all open access are Scopus indexed, or is it that all Scopus indexed or open access, sir?
Okay, okay. Let me tell you. What is your good name?
So, my name is Shaheen, sir. Shaheen.
Shaheen. Scopus is actually a database where the journals are indexed, right? If some journal is indexed in Scopus database, we consider it as Scopus publication. Now, the publication, a research paper can be published either in open access or on subscription based paper. Like the paper that I have got published, if I would have gone for open access publication, I would have need to pay a heavy amount for that, for making the paper available for everyone. Open access means the paper is downloadable by everyone. Another way is publication based on subscription, where you are supposed, if you want to download some paper, you need to pay for that. What happens that the foreign universities which wanted to do good in the research, they ask the faculties to publish their paper in open access. The least fees that is charged by European or
American journal for open access is $3,000, means around 2,40,50,000 rupees. This amount is paid by the university to bring that publication in open access, which is not easy for us, frankly speaking. So we get
our paper published in subscription based publication, where if someone wanted to see your paper, he has to pay fees to the journal. Hope I'm clear to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Open access and Scopus journal are two different things. Scopus means the journal which has been indexed in Scopus database. Two renowned database is there. Scopus, and another is for science, what we call, there is another data set. For SCI, the journal has to be indexed in that. I'm forgetting the name of that
Sir,
repository.
Web of Science. Sir, Web of Science.
Web of Science, yes, Web of Science. So most of the science research journals are indexed in Web of Science, and more of the social science papers are indexed in Scopus. Though most of the reputed journal are indexed in both the depositories, Scopus as well as Web of Science.
Sir, if time permits, just one more clarification in the same question, if you don't mind.
Yes, yes, of course.
Sir, it so happens sometimes because Scopus is a new concept for especially social sciences and all, where universities are asking us now to apply for that. So what I've
Yes.
understood is some of them get published in Scopus Index Journal, but it is not creating a Scopus ID instantly. So what would be the reason for that, sir?
See, Scopus Index Journal are not the new thing. It is new for us because around 3-4 years back, Indian universities uh, focused on good research work. And for NAC and all accreditation, we need publication in good journals. And what we consider as good journal is the journal which are indexed in Scopus. First thing. There are several predatory or fake journals which are available in the market. They charge you 10,000, 20,000 rupees and assure that your this journal is indexed in Scopus. But actually, they are not. They are either predatory or fake journals. So you should avoid those journals which are charging you 10,000, 20,000 rupees for getting your paper published in their journal. Even if the journal is indexed right now, they would be out of Scopus database once the Scopus is found that finds that the journal is publishing more than the required paper and charging publication charges, APC, article publication charges for it. So better you go for good publisher instead of randomly choosing any publisher. Hope I'm clear to you. If you are getting your article published in really Scopus Index Journal, it takes around 1 month or two to reflect in the Scopus database. If it is not reflecting in Scopus database, after 1 or 2 months, you can file missing document through Scopus database. There is a process of filing missing document. Once you file that missing document, if it is truly published in Scopus Index Journal, it will appear in the list of Scopus. The research paper will reflect in the database of Scopus. So I hope I am answered your query. If you really got your paper published in Scopus Journal and it is not appearing in the Scopus database, you file missing document.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Please proceed. Dr. Rajina, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir,
Any other query?
sir, can we?
Yes, now we will bind, sir. Bind up the session.
Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone to listening me so promptly, and thank you Tiwari sir for inviting me to take this session.
Yes, sir.
And Rajina ma'am, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Sir,
Several times you have introduced me to the audience.
yes, but we are really blessed to have a speaker like you, sir.
In the conference
Thank
also,
you.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, on
Regina
behalf,
ma'am, I know, she
Yeah.
is very active.
thank you, sir. Thank you for that. On behalf of all the participants and on behalf of School of Economics and Commerce, on behalf of all the faculty, I would really extend my wholehearted thanks to the speaker for the today, that is Rajesh Kumar Upadhyay, sir. Sir, thank you once again, sir, for making the learning really interesting and joyful, sir. Throughout the session, I think participants has really enjoyed and we really had a very learning experience, sir. And it's all because of your expertise. Finally, I would like to thank all the faculty members are from SOEC for extending their support for smooth functioning of the event. Last but not least, the pillar of our SOEC and the man behind this event, our director sir, Dr.B.B. Tiwari sir, for all that you have done to make this event happen and sharing and making the platform for sharing such huge knowledge to all the participants across. Thank you, sir, for such initiatives and for all such wonderful events. And
Thank you very much, Regina ma'am.
yes, sir. And wishing you all the participants good luck for the day. And signing off, Dr. Razina from School of Economics and Commerce, CMR University. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Raja, sir. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night, all the
Thank
participants.
you, everyone.